Brought to you by Friends, Counsel, and Agnes. TrusteeU, your online governance program for trustees.
One question that I'm oftentimes asked when boards are trying to get started, heads and boards are trying to get started, maybe trying some different things in the boardroom to get more engagement, more critical thinking, and they say they're kind of nervous because it's scary. It feels it's uncharted territory, and you know the easiest thing to do is just to fall back, stay with your habits, stay with your routine. And I have a lot of schools, a lot of boards and heads say, look, it's not broken, why would we try to fix it? We're doing just fine, the school's doing great. And so why would we try something different? That feels very unsettling. And so one question I like to ask heads and boards is to say, what are the outcomes for your governance right now? What are you getting from your board meetings? What are trustees getting? What's the head of school getting? What's the senior staff getting? What are your current outcomes? And when you get them thinking about that, they're like, well, we get approval of things, or we get to hear what the committee's reports are. And when they really start to get into that, like, well, that's not really adding a lot of value, is it? And so you start to say, all right, is there a cost of the status quo? What is the cost of the status quo? You can continue like this, and that's fine, but what are the outcomes you're getting, and what outcomes would you like to get? Let's just say in an ideal world, what would you like from your board? What would you like them to be doing? What are the kinds of conversations you'd like them to be having? How can they add value? I like to put some of this on the head to say, it's not just the board, but it's the head of school saying, here's what I need from my board. Here's the kind of thinking. Here's some of the critical questions. Here's what's keeping me awake at night. And I want to have a think tank of people who care about this school. I can go and say, these are all the issues, not just what's going great around here. And obviously the head wants to tell the board all the great things that are happening, and they should tell them that. They should also have a dialogue about the tough stuff, the messy stuff, and then feel comfortable when it does get messy. So there's a certain amount of anxiety because most of us don't like ambiguity. Some people don't like asking a question unless they already know the answer. And this is about leadership without easy answers, and that's a book by Ron Heifetz that's just fantastic, and that's what this is about, because the central issues facing our schools now, there's no easy answer. If there were easy answers, we wouldn't need a board meeting. The CEO, the head of school could just go and figure it out and make it happen. But because things are so complex, so ambiguous, moving so quickly, we need to engage more minds around the table, and a better way to do that is through thinking differently in the boardroom, asking questions before asserting answers, and being a little comfortable and being a little playful. I think board meetings should be fun. I think people think better when they're having fun, when they're engaged, and if it's just an exercise in showing up and nodding and all that, people aren't having fun. So I think that's really critical. And so again, being comfortable, playful, let it roll. See what happens, and realize sometimes you're going to say, oh my gosh, that conversation really didn't go anywhere, but let's bring it back, because I think there were some elements there that we can pull out of that conversation. And then a critical aspect of this is to stop and ask ourselves, what are we learning? What did we learn from that board meeting? What did we learn through trying this new process? Because after all, we are learning organizations, and we should be learning as a board and as a head and as the staff together, learning what makes sense, what didn't make sense, what do we want to do differently next time, how do we continue to improve and continually add value to the organization. That is absolutely central, and that's at the heart of this.